Hello my dear students, last class we have discussed about the menstrual irregularities and today's class we will discuss about the polycystic ovarian syndrome, that is PCOS, which is one of the most common cause for the various menstrual irregularities. Okay. So polycystic ovarian syndrome, you can see in this picture how the polycystic ovary looks like. So the normal ovary, we can see all the follicle at various stages and sometimes even the corpus luteum. But here in the polycystic ovary, the size of the overall ovary is increased and the volume of the ovary is increased, and you can see all the follicles are sub-centimeter and they are arranged at the periphery. None of the follicle grows to the mature Graafian follicle and the ovulation is affected. So the characteristic feature of PCOS is chronic anovulation. There is no ovulation happening at the regular intervals, which is supposed to happen around 14th day. But here in polycystic ovarian syndrome, there is a characteristic feature, that is a chronic anovulation. Because of the chronic anovulation, the cycles will be irregular. As we have discussed in the previous cycle, the normal menstrual cycle, which varies somewhere between 21 days to 35 days. But here, usually the menstrual irregularity that what we see is the oligomenorrhea, that is infrequent menstrual cycle. That is the cycle length goes more than, it will be more than, cycle length is more than 35 days. As in the previous class, we have discussed the cycle length varies somewhere between 21 to 35 days. So here in the PCOS, the main or the most common menstrual irregularity that we see is the oligomenorrhea. So what is the root cause? How the pathogenesis occurs in the PCOS? For whatever reason, that could be a genetic reason or it could be a stressful lifestyle. With this, there is an increased GnRH pulse. That is the starting point from where the hormonal imbalance ends. So, whenever there is increase or acceleration of GnRH, it increases the LH. So, this disturbs the LH-FSH ratio. Normal FSH and LH ratio should be 2:1. But here the ratio is disturbed, in the sense it becomes 1:2. So, the LH will be more, or it is 2:1. It is 2:1. So the LH will be more predominant hormone than the FSH. This LH in turn acts on the theca cells. These theca cells are seen in the ovary. This LH acts on the theca cells and produces the androgens. This is the source of androgens in females. But because of increased LH, which causes theca cell hyperplasia, it causes hyperandrogenemia, increased androgen secretion. This is the end result of the hormonal imbalance, which causes various manifestations. Either it could be dermatological, gynecological, or the endocrinological manifestation. The overall manifestations of the PCOS is due to the androgen, increased hyperandrogenemia or androgen synthesis. So, it is not only due to the LH hypersecretion which stimulates the theca cells. There is an insulin resistance which can lead to hyperinsulinemia. Even this increases the androgen synthesis. So once we understood the pathogenesis, now we will understand the various manifestations or clinical features of the PCOS. Initially, there will be insulin resistance, insulin hypersecretion. This insulin increases the androgens through reducing the SHBG. What is SHBG here? It is the sex hormone binding globulin. That production is reduced. So normally the ratio of the binding globulin to the hormone is 1:1. But here the SHBG, the globular protein which binds to the testosterone, is reduced. That is again one more pathogenesis, one more mechanism that we see in PCOS which increases the free androgens. So not only the production part which is disturbed and causing hyperandrogenemia, even the binding part, there is a defective binding to the globulin, which increases the free androgens. The net result is the hyperandrogenemia. So once we understand this hyperandrogenemia, what does it cause? It can cause a chronic anovulation again and results in infertility and irregular cycles. After understanding this, various gynecological manifestations, then we will look into the dermatological manifestation. It could be increased severity of acne, hirsutism, that is male distribution of the hair under the chin, upper lip, anterior part of the chest, and the male distribution of hair, and severe acne, and endocrinological, again we see the acanthosis nigricans, that is velvety thick pigmentation that we see at the back of the neck and anterior crural folds, that is the axilla, on both sides and the back of the neck. These are the velvety thick pigmented areas that we see, and it is called acanthosis nigricans. This is one of the clinical signs that we elicit in the Hayran syndrome. What is Hayran syndrome here? It is hyperandrogenemia due to insulin resistance causing acanthosis nigricans. So, Hayran syndrome is the very severe or extreme form of the insulin resistance which will cause the hormonal imbalance and the various dermatological manifestations. In this class, we learnt about pathogenesis and the various clinical manifestations of the PCOS. In the next upcoming video, we will understand about the criteria, what are the various Rotterdam criteria and the management of the PCOS.